This is the map that the Forrest Fenn poem was rendered from. Begin at where warm waters halt. These are the warm waters. This is where it halts at Highway 21. And take it in the canyon down. You go down Route 21. Not far, but too far to walk. You certainly would be driving this. Clue 4. Put in below the home of Brown. This is the gate, the entranceway to the property. The home of Brown is the stock pond, and also this Philmont pasture is where there is a herd of horses. Brown horses, to be specific. From there, it's no place is the meek. As I mentioned, this is the home of where a herd of horses are. Sometimes there's quite a large herd of horses in here, and it's certainly no place for the meek. The end is ever drawing nigh. You're getting to the end of the driveway and to the Casa del Gavilon. There'll be no paddle up your creek. Your creek is Uraca Creek, which is a dry creek. Just heavy loads and water high. There's a tank house right here. It's a water storage tank house that has been traditionally used for the Casa del Gavilon. Which leaves us at number 9. If you've been wise and found the blaze. Well, that's something that somebody has to discover on their own after they go to visit the Casa del Gavilon. I've gone there, and I have my take on it. And my take on it is the light poles that are in the back parking lot is the blaze that's being discussed. And if you follow the blaze of lights and you look quickly down, it will end at the casita, which is listed right here. The casita no longer exists. It was damaged through a fire on March 2nd of 2006, known as the Ash Wednesday Fire. As the poem continues, but tarry scant with marble gaze, which means don't just hang around staring at it. Just take the chest and go in peace. Now, this is something that has stumped a lot of people. Taking the chest and going in peace is just a mention of pride. Take the chest. Take in a deep breath and take a sense of pride that you've figured out the poem. Or in this case, that I figured out the poem. And just go in peace. Now, as the poem continues on, so why is it that I must go and leave my trove for all to seek? See, that stumped a lot of people also. That people thought that the poem was telling them to take the chest and go in peace, but then it's stating here that they didn't take the chest. And that's how I'm trying to explain it to you, is that the initial chest is just the pride of discovering the location. Because once you're on location, the answers you should already know. There's 3 different homes of Brown there, for example. So let me continue on. The answers I already know. I've done it tired and now I'm weak. The recommendation on hiking at the Casa del Gavilon Trail, especially in the warmer times, is in the morning when it's cold, it's cooler. And which leads us into this last part of the poem. So hear me all and listen good. Your effort will be worth the cold. That's going out hiking in the morning. If you are brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold. Well, this is what it's all about, people. As Forrest has said on more than one occasion, that the treasure of going out with your family to a wilderness location and going out hiking is a treasure in and of itself. This is what he has led people to. And from what he has told us, he's also hidden a chest of gold. This is the location I believe that he's talking about. This map here, this picture here in connection with the Forrest Fenn poem. The Forrest Fenn poem is a literal rendition of this picture. If you do go to the Casa del Gavilan, as I did, you could go and sit down in the library and you should find a book there written by an author with the last name Lister. And that book is a book of poems based on pictures, which is exactly what I'm discussing here, is a poem based on a picture. This particular picture, if you look down this map, right down here where the copyright is, and this is a fair use of this as we're discussing the picture, so we're not violating any copyright laws. Copyright 1999, David Emery. David Emery is an architectural photographer based out of Ohio. And I had the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Emery when I visited the Casa de Gavilan. He was diligently working on the property. He was doing some painting work, getting things ready for the season. And I had discussed his work with him. And he had asked me, "Oh, were you the person that had contacted me on the telephone?" Which I immediately took note of him asking that question, and the reason as to why he asked that question popped in my head, and the answer also popped in. And no, I'm not saying people are talking to me in my head. But anyhow, I realized quickly that it was another treasure hunter that had contacted him to discuss his architectural photography and what that actually was. Because Forrest had mentioned that an architect wrote the poem of where the treasure is, or where the treasure lies. And this architect is David Emery.